Well, it looks like my microphone was off for the first 10 minutes. So I'm going to rephrase what I just talked about. I don't know what happened. Well, I know what happened, and I know what I forgot to do. So yesterday we were discussing what happens to your dreams, and when your dreams change and go black and blue. So we're going to go over that just one more time, so you can actually hear me. But first, I'm going to show you the terror of my day and the wonder of my nights. This is the wonderful Janna Marie on my shirt, and you can purchase her in our merch store, bolesbooks.org merch. And she's very interesting. You can feed her spiders, and sometimes they'll disappear into her mouth, if you're lucky. Or, the holidays are coming up, Thanksgiving, you can feed her a little pumpkin. Munch on a pumpkin, Janna Marie. And she eats it. And sometimes, you just present her with a lovely Valentine. An early gift. On the nose, on the cheek, in the mouth. Swallows it. Now, if you're interested in getting your own Janna Marie shirt, I'll show you just how to get it. You go right here to our merch store, bolesbooks.org/merch. And you can see the beautiful Janna Marie showing you her beautiful scary face. And you click on her scary face, and there she is saying hello. And you have a variety of colors. You have the classic black. We have a most lovely pink. A navy. The gray is interesting. And then, of course, the space white. We love in the East Coast, New York City. We like the black shirt. So you can't beat that if you want some fun with Janna Marie screaming. And if you're wondering, wow, look at that, she's really screaming. What is she doing? I like to think of this as Janna Marie's The Scream moment. From that to this, back to this. Edvard Munch, The Scream. Go to the Edvard Munch website.org. Learn about The Scream, a painting, 1893. Here's your lovely history. Screaming into the night with Janna Marie in her own special way. And there she is, live and in person. So now we have to go back just a little bit because I messed up the beginning of this stream, talking about dreams and what happens when they decay and when they go black and blue. And yesterday we discussed Newark in Black and Blue, which was a radio performance from my Page to Stage class 20 years ago, at the University of Rutgers, Newark campus. And the title of their performance was Newark in Black and Blue. And it was about their experience as people of color and Caucasians and everybody mixed together in one classroom and how they all experience Newark, New Jersey together. And you wonder as you listen to those voices from the past, has anything changed? Do the dreams remain, or have they been taken away? And what happens to a dream when it gets crushed and life changes? Does the dream change or does the dream diminish? It's a difficult decision. It's a hard thing to know. I think that dreams, when they get bruised, black and blue, the dreams to be a ballerina, the dreams to be a graduate student, they change. And they change in interesting ways. They modify, sometimes they die, or sometimes they get folded into their children. Well, I can't be a ballerina, I can't go to graduate school, but my kids can. And my dream now has changed from that to them, that I will assist them in finding their dream and finding their path forward. And it works. That's how generations survive, by passing one dream on to another. And sometimes there are glitches in the generation where the dream is not realized. And sad things happen, and people become different, and people become wounded. And those are the people we need to help. Not with pity, but with empathy. And it makes me wonder, those students of mine from 18 years ago, what are they doing now? They may have their own children, and they may ask their children what their dreams are. And maybe their children will ask back the same question that I asked those students to ask their parents 18 years ago. What dreams did you have when you were my age? What did you want to be? And they're always surprised that their parents have dreams that are outside of their own wants and wishes. So how did my students' dreams change? And what if their children, who are probably 15, 16, 17 years old now, asking them at the same age I asked them to ask their parents, what are your dreams? And did your dreams change? Or did your dreams remain the same? It can be a difficult thing to construct and recognize and revise as we live a human life. So yesterday, we had an interesting conversation here together about Twitch and YouTube and streamers and how young people are all over those networks and Facebook is stuck with the old people over 50. And we're reading in the newspaper that Facebook doesn't want old people on Facebook. They want the young kids. The young kids don't want Facebook anymore. They're leaving. They're going to TikTok and I don't know if it's still Snapchat or something else. A lot of them are on Twitch. And it makes you wonder what's going on with the people. Why don't people want old people? Old people have the money. But I guess the real money is in the young kids because the young kids go online and spend their parents' money online. So we had a little bit of an interesting conversation about this stream because we're trying to get people to follow us, to help us take the next step on Twitch and on YouTube. And it can be a difficult task to try to convince your friends that you need some help. So we had this conversation yesterday, late in the afternoon, early evening, about this. And I just posted this, what happens when you talk to yourself. We did this yesterday, where you get caught in a loop of strangeness going back and forth into a mirror and out of the mirror. And so a friend of mine gave me a hard time about my new shirt that you can buy in the merch store. Where is that shirt? I'll try to tell you right now. This is the tie-dye shirt that she was teasing me about. I was wearing it yesterday. I was proud of it. Love the colors. Okay. And the shirt is very big, but it's like a surfer dude shirt, so I think it's supposed to be big. The collar around the neck is a little tight. So that's how you know the rest of the shirt is designed just to be big. And so we're having a conversation, and I'm putting a little pitch in for our merch store, right? Why not? And then we keep going, and then she, compliments me for being, ridiculous by trying to sell her my t-shirt, and we talk about other things, and I talk about the live stream, and please join us, give us a follow. Not really begging, more asking. Maybe a little begging. And we get to the point. She has 4 kids. Look, I don't even know what Twitch is. Now, that was the devastating conversation I had with myself yesterday about this. People my age, people our age, people over 50, don't know what Twitch is. They don't know how it works. They don't know what the purpose of it is. What the heck's going on? What is this Twitch? What do you mean, follow you? I only follow on Facebook. That's a good point. And Twitch is popular, so is streaming on YouTube. Streaming on Facebook is also popular, but you can't stream music easily on Facebook, so you're gonna have to cut out the music. I like the background music, so we stream on Twitch and YouTube. And so I tell my friend, hey, we just talked about this Twitch thing and how old people, and I should put a description in the stream saying this is for old people only. If you're young, you can't watch. And then they would watch because you're telling them they can't have it. I don't know if I should do that or not, but maybe I will. And then talking about people making a lot of money on streaming on Twitch, and she makes an F-word comment about Twitch being TikTok-y. Yeah, okay. So I go on, try to help her, She has kids. Try to help her. Get online. Find us. She has 4 kids. So maybe they'll help her get online, or maybe not. You never know.
Our struggle as artists.
But it was definitely an interesting conversation because I had just talked about that and how slightly frustrating it was not to
tending to the broken parts inside of ourselves.
Have your friends on the stream just because they don't understand what it means. They don't understand what a live stream is. I said it's like having your own television, your own broadcasting station.
That wave isn't necessarily a thing you achieve. Rather, it is a
So now we'll briefly talk about eye surgery as we go from one extreme to another. And this is probably another old person topic. But that's okay.
Like water. Be like water.
I wear contact lenses. And I used to have an old eye doctor 30 years ago who said, I will never do surgery on a healthy eye. Because at that time it was the thing getting your eyes fixed and shaved, and then you don't need glasses. And I always admired that, and it always stuck with me. That you don't do surgery on a healthy eye if there's nothing wrong with it, just to correct vision, so they don't have to wear glasses or contacts. Why? So I've not had any surgery on my eyes, but a lot of people I know have, and it's been very successful. And that original doctor who told me he would never do surgery on a healthy eye has done many surgeries now. It's now his main source of income. And he charges top dollar in New York City. I think it's $6,000 an eye. Other places, New Jersey, they'll do it for $2,400 an eye. Some places, discount places, will do it for $1,200 an eye. Still a lot of money. I prefer wearing contacts just because you can put it in, take it out. You can go back. There's no permanence to it, which is what I like. But the problem is if as your eyes age and get worse, your contact need gets bigger and larger. So it's a little bit of a problem. And so my eye surgeon doctor who checks my eyes every year says maybe you should consider getting the surgery so you can see, don't necessarily need contacts. I said, well, if far, near. He said, well, you'll have to make a decision. You're either going to have far vision and be able to see fine, and then maybe probably need reading glasses to read something up close, or the opposite. If your far distance will suffer, but your medium distance and your reading distance will be okay. You have to make a decision. And I said, well, why would I have surgery if it's really not going to give me perfect vision up close and far away? And she said, well, you do that because right now your lenses for your glasses are very thick because you can't see far away. So by having surgery, your glasses, either reading glasses or your far away glasses, will be thinner. I said, well, that makes sense. But the echoing of my original doctor 30 years ago saying, don't do surgery on a healthy eye, just for cosmetic reasons so you can see better. So I had another conversation with my eye surgeon, and she said, maybe you want monovision. She said it can be very difficult to make work and to set up. But what monovision is... Oh my goodness, our friend Dora is here. Haha. Dora, I'm going to type to you, but I realize I don't have to type to you because you're here. Now, when Janna shows up later, she'll have to type to you. We are live today, and we are probably also Memorex. Oh, it's so nice to see you here, Dora. Thank you so much. I appreciate you showing up. You are old like me, and I mean that lovingly and affectionately. But you did figure out Twitch, unlike our other friend, who did not show up and was not here. So we have a little bit of a monovision issue, and my eye doctor said, I'm gonna answer Dora because just maybe she's watching this on VOD. We are live on Twitch right now. Did you hear me say hello to you? Not here. See. Boom. We'll see what happens. And my eye doctor said monovision is maybe what you want to do. And monovision is difficult because not everyone's brain can get it figured out. And the idea is, using contacts or surgery, is you have one eye that can see far away. And the other eye is for reading or medium distance. It really kind of can't be both. So no matter what you do, even with monovision, you're going to have some kind of glasses. In the end. And she told me that she had the surgery on her eye, which she supports, and I understand it's safe and effective, and I'll probably do it one day. And she has monovision, where she sees far away in one eye surgically, and medium distance in this eye. So it's not like glasses, where it's a prescription where you see far, medium, and near all the same, and then maybe you have bifocals. And I said, well, that's interesting. She said, why don't we try it on you? Not for surgery. Let's just try it with contact lenses. Instead of giving you, the same capacity in both eyes, we'll give you one eye for distance and one eye for close up. And we have tried it, and over the years, I've kept it, and sometimes I have reading up close in one eye and medium distance for the other eye, for the same eye, just by changing my contact lens. So some days if I have to read a lot, I can put in a contact lens for reading, and if I'm going out in the real world where I really don't need to see up close to read a lot, but I need to see medium distance for the subway and the train and going up and down stairs, then I wear that contact. And she said it can be difficult because the brain wants to fight it. The brain wants stereo vision. Because what happens with monovision is you're looking at something and your eye will focus far away, and this eye just kind of says, okay, I don't have that contact in, I don't have that surgery in this eye, so I'm just going to not look. I'm there, I'm seeing things, but I'm not focused. And then back and forth. Now, I have floaters in my eyes for many years. I think they're kind of serious. Oh, here she is again. Lovely Dora. Ah, love it. So I don't have to type back to you. Dora, it's wonderful. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you so much for joining us. It is a little confusing because we're new to this as well. And you look at the video on demand stuff, and then you see on the side that there's a chat window, and it looks like you can chat in video on demand. I guess if there are other people watching the same video, then you can chat with them. I don't know if that becomes part of the recorded video experience or if it just stays there in the chat window forever. I don't understand it, but I'm so glad you're here with us live. It makes a big difference. And the verification on the email and the phone is a little troublesome. I'm glad you did it, though. Thank you so much. But it also helps keep the bad people out, and I guess there are also bad bots out there that come and attack. Here's a friendly bot that I created called Quote. And anybody can type this, exclamation point, Q-U-O-T-E, and you get a quote. In seeking perfection, we find redemption. Now, that's a quote I happen to write. You can get other quotes. Exclamation point, Q-U-O-T-E is what I type. And then I press enter. And we get another quote. The release of dramatic tension is like a scorpion injecting venom into a peach. Playwright Henrik Ibsen. I did not write that one, but I love the quote. You can also type in another command, exclamation point, T-I-T-L-E, and enter. What do we get? Oh! Title of this live stream is David Boles Live. Fun. Now, technically, and I don't think this is working yet either, if you type exclamation mark song, my friendly bot should give us the name of the song. And I typed it in, and it didn't work. And you don't even see that I typed it in because the command didn't go through. But you do see the Pretzel Rocks bot, which is our music, that every time I get a new song, Pretzel Rocks comes out and says, hey, here's the title of the song. So we're going to take a break in just a moment, but I want to finish my monovision conversation with you. That monovision is really a very interesting and fine thing, and I'm going to give you some examples of it, but I do think we're going to take our blood pressure break in just a moment. Don't leave, stay right there. I'll be back in just a moment. I will see you very soon. And we're back from the break. If you don't know, this is my Janna Marie shirt. Talked about it earlier when my microphone wasn't on. You can buy her in the merch store. Feed her peanuts. And she'll stay by your side forever. Now what happened is we have a new setup here. And what I usually do when I leave and go on an intermission break or get ready is I turn my microphone off by turning it down. My microphone back on by turning up the volume again. But I decided, well, that's ugly, seeing my arm go down and mess around with the volume like this. So I said, well, I'll just leave that on, and I'll be clever. And I'll go over here and turn my microphone on and off via a little click. Click. Click, now it's on. Now the problem is the way that this stream is set up to work on a Mac is that no matter what, because of the way it streams, is I hear myself through my microphone in my headphones if I click that button or not. Click. Now it's back on. I can hear it still, and now you probably can hear me. So that's a major problem, because the first 10 minutes of the show, I was talking to you about really important things, and you couldn't hear me. So if anything ever happens like that, please get into chat and send a little hello so I can fix it. So I repeated my story about what happens when dreams go black and blue. So we'll finish our conversation about monovision, which I really love, and it works for me. And my eye doctor said it works for about 10% of the people that she knows. However, there are two circumstances where my monovision does not work very well. I used to have it where I could see far away and and really up close. But that was always dangerous when I went out into the real world, because I couldn't see in the middle. I couldn't see steps when I'm going up and down the subway. When I'm talking to people, I couldn't really see their facial expression because it was a little bit blurry. So I had the contact changed so I could see middle, but up close, like reading my Apple Watch. I can sometimes read it, sometimes can't read it. Like this, I can read it. Like this, I can't read it. So sometimes if it's high humidity or low humidity, both which seem to affect my contacts, I can't read anything up close. So I put on my reading glasses, which I find is a humiliation. The people at the front desk of my building call these my Clark Kent glasses. Oh, there he is. Can't see. He's not Superman today. He's Clark Kent. Which is very true. But the problem with this is I can now see everything very clearly. It looks ugly on stream because I can see my lights reflecting. But I can see. It covers up the bags under my eyes. Or maybe it makes them bigger, I don't know. But you get to a point where you accept that you're ugly and that your hair grows in 1,000 different ways. Young people don't know what a cowlick is. My whole head of hair it was one giant cowlick. Actually, it's 1,000 different cowlicks going in different directions. It's untamable. And the older I get, the worse it gets. It's more like hay structure. When I was young, it was like rabbit fur. Charming. Lovely to touch. So I can't. And once I put on these glasses, like for half an hour and start wearing them, then I can't, if I take them off again, for ego or fashion, I can't read anything. It's like my eyes become accustomed to relying on the glasses. And then I have these glasses. They're supposed to be special. If you hear sirens in the building, the windows are open. These are supposed to block blue light, and also be non-reflective, but they are very reflective. Terrible for a live stream, as you can see. But instead of being white, as the lights are, they're now sort of blue. And I look at myself on screen, and I have a little bit of a yellowish tint, although I can see really well. I don't use those really ever, but they're supposed to lessen eye strain. I will show you my other blue light blocking glasses that I purchased because I thought they would be helpful. And they're actually very strange. Now, you're supposed to wear these outside or at night because blue light from your computer or from your phone makes it so you can't sleep at night. Everything's bright orange, not even rose-colored. It's a little disarming. Then I have a less severe version of those. They're not prescription. None of those are prescription. The reading glasses are prescription. These are not reading glasses. These are regular glasses you're supposed to wear inside your home as you get ready to go to bed at night. Now, this is not as severe, blue blocking, not as orange, probably not as effective, but look at that. You could wear these. How can you wear these in real life with that kind of glare? It's not really acceptable. And then we've learned that this whole idea of blue light from your computers interfering with your sleep is not true. They've now researched it. It's all a big misunderstanding. Although I do still have blue light in my life, and that's about every 2 weeks when I go to the skin doctor for my skin cancer checkups. And this is healing nicely. The scab has fallen off twice now, so it's healing. It's about 2 weeks old. And every 2 weeks I go and I sit in front of this bank of fluorescent lights that encompasses my face like this. Only my face. And it's a series of about 12 tubes that produce blue light. And I sit there for 8 minutes with my eyes closed. And the blue light therapy is supposed to stop or inhibit these cancerous growths from taking over your face. I don't know if it's working or not, but my doctor seems very pleased with himself. And it appears that my insurance pays for it because I keep going. So if your dermatologist is interested in having you do blue light therapy for your beautiful skin, it's supposed to kind of be anti-aging as well. I've done a little bit of research on it. It didn't seem very convincing to me, but my doctor is very convinced, and he's old. He's 78 years old, and he loves the blue light therapy. Okay, I'll do the blue light therapy. And these conversations about hair and eyes and blue light and surgery and floaters and cataracts makes me realize that you cannot run from your end. You're going to get older, not always wiser. Some of us get dumber as we age. Ask my wife about me. And so people change. They get scared. They don't want to age. There's discrimination. All true. So they get work done. And I just wonder why, for what purpose? Why change some people just change their look online. There are groups called Instagram Reality, where they go and they find a beautiful person and they look for them on video, and then they look at what they've posted, a photograph they posted of themselves online on Instagram, and they compare them. Instagram Reality and then how the person really looks. And it's embarrassing. I don't understand the point of that. But I guess if you're creating a fantasy in a product, that's okay. And I think as long as you're being upfront about it, that's fine too. But misleading people thinking, oh, that's how you look in real life, when you don't, I think is a problem. But what do I know? I'm old and can't see anything. I just nod my head and pretend I'm there. So Janna Marie is coming up in a little while. She's going to sit here and take over this chair. And she's going to discuss, this is her by the way, the Screamer. She's going to discuss her upbringing in Council Bluffs, Iowa as a deaf child in a hearing world. And where the expectation 30, 40 years ago, 50 years ago was that everything would be fine. Just put the deaf child in a mainstream school and she's going to be just fine. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. And Janna's going to tell her story in ASL, but she's also going to be typing it in chat to clarify, so it's going to be kind of an interesting mix of cultures where she signs in advanced ASL and then she types in English. So if you don't know sign language, you're not going to be left out. And if you do know sign language, you're going to get an advanced lesson in classifiers and storytelling. And she will take questions, and if she's signing too quickly, because when you get on stream, things get blurry when you start moving your hands around a lot. Yes, Dora, I know. The older we get, the worse it gets. And the only consolation in getting older is that you know what's coming. When you're young, you have no clue about what the world is like or what's going to happen. I remember one time I was on my way to the dentist, and I had hired an Uber. And it was an older black gentleman, and I got into his car, and I lived next to a high school, and we were going down the hill, and all of these young, beautiful children, high schoolers, were in the street. And they were dressed in their school uniforms, all looking perfectly pressed and bathed in Pine Sol. And he looked at them, and he looked at me, and they were happy and singing and laughing. And he said to me, they have no idea what's coming for them. And I knew exactly what he meant. And he knew that I knew what he meant. And I said, yeah, you're right. Life is going to hit them in a year, and they're not going to know where they came from. And that happens a lot. People go to college, they think, oh, this is equal access. I'm at a university that respects me and that gives me time and treats me equally. And then you graduate and you go out into the real world and you find out all of that was a lie. You have to survive in a very nasty street fight. And a lot of it's politics and palling around and getting to know who you know, and if you're not in the right club, you're not in. You're not going to know what hit you until it's too late. So running from the end is sort of a pitiful thing because it's going to catch up to us. And the quicker we accept who we are and we realize our deficits, the easier it will be to be content with a life. A lot of people are obsessed with happiness. Oh, I'm not happy. And I say happiness is overrated. The point of a life should not be happiness, but contentment and wisdom, because you can never be happy. People get bored. Oh, I'm bored. I'm not happy. Well, what are you going to do about it? Read a book. Join a live stream. Get in the conversation. Have fun. But finding out who you are and then being comfortable with it is something that we all try to do. Some of us never want to get there. And some of us are not able to ever comprehend. But it's still worth trying. So, now we're going to make a little bit of a transition into a little bit of a pet peeve of mine when it comes to writing for television. And the idea of that is the notion that if you have two people who are interested in each other in real life, the life of the show, the characters in the show, they have to have ridiculous and witty banter. And I specifically am thinking of, what's it called? I don't really watch it, but Janna does. It's NCIS Los Angeles. And there are two people on that show, I don't know if it's even on anymore, but in reruns, who, a blonde-haired guy, a dark-haired woman. And they like each other, but they don't like each other. And their relationship on television is the exact problem that I'm addressing with you now. If you're interested in writing believable and interesting characters. Witty banter in a script is not very interesting. It's very easy to do and to use as a crutch, as an escape. But in practice, it's not terribly interesting. Because the witty banter is based on kind of putting each other down, making fun of the other person, teasing, pretending you like them but you don't really like them. And they go back and forth, and writers love to write that kind of conversation, dialogue, because it's funny and it's witty, and they don't like each other, and then they do like each other. Oh, they don't like each other. I don't find it to be a very effective tool for storytelling because it's not believable. In real life, do we really have witty banter between two people? Sometimes you do. But to be witty and to be banter-like, you have to really know what the other person's going to say. You have to be kind of on the same wavelength. So maybe there is a little bit of witty banter, but it's not usually very realistic or believable. Because to have witty banter, you sort of have to poke fun of or make fun of the other person. And most people don't like to be made fun of. Even if they're in a relationship, even if you like someone. But if you tease them a little bit too hard, the after effect is really not one that's very interesting. And that can hurt people and do a lot of damage. So when you are writing conversation between two people who maybe like each other, discretion and hinting and biting around the edges of the attraction, for me, is much more interesting as a dramatist. Because you're inviting your audience to be part of the conversation. They can play along with you. But when you're being very obvious about giving the other person a hard time just to give them a hard time. And they do this a lot in friendships on shows too, on television. Rizzoli and Isles, I think that's the name of the show. They're friends. They tease each other, but in kind of a mean way. Teasing is not a very friendly thing. And when you put it on television, then people think it's okay to tease in real life. And feelings get hurt and misunderstandings happen. It can be problematic. And this springs from the 1950s with the meet cute idea of a script. And you see it where it's kind of a tired trope where you bump into somebody, you meet them, what's up Doc, Barbara Streisand, Ryan O'Neal. That's a meet cute, how they bumped into each other, just happened to bump into each other. Sleepless in Seattle, filled with meet cutes. And that's a thing that they talk about in writers' meetings. Oh, how can they meet? What unique and interesting way can they meet? It's usually not very interesting. So how can we get around the meet cute and the witty banter and just have an interesting conversation with someone on television or on a stage script that means something beyond just being a surface way of putting two people together? And that's harder because it's about situations. And it's about an ongoing conversation that has reverberation beyond just the immediate play for a joke or a wink or a poke in the eye. And then what happens in these meet cutes and this witty banter, especially on television, is eventually the writers run out of ideas about the wittiness. And so they just put them together. I mean, they can't really break them up because for a year, 2 or 3 seasons, you've had them witty bantering with each other, so they can't separate unless one's leaving the show. They can't have them in the same show and not witty banter anymore. So you put them together and make them an official couple, or you have them have a big wedding, and then, of course, everything changes. Because a relationship and a marriage, I don't want to say it's not fun, but there's not a lot of witty banter. Because witty banter really is about sexual tension. And once you're in a relationship, once you're in a marriage, if you're lucky, that goes away. All of that is satisfied. So where does the tension, where does the witty banter come? In trying to one-up the other person? Well, I'm smarter. Well, I made a better joke than you did. It's not terribly interesting from an audience point of view, and it's lazy dramatic writing. So witty banter is a trap that many professional and amateur authors use to try to get their point across, that their characters are lively and interesting and involved with each other and intellectual. And I find the after effect to be kind of just the opposite of that. Well, I think it's time for our next break, our blood pressure break. And then soon, Janna Marie is going to be joining us. We'll be back in just a moment as I turn my mic down and not turn it off. I will see you in just a moment. Thank you for being here. And we're back from break. Thank you so much for sticking around. Janna Marie is preparing. It's going to be a very interesting conversation with her. And I'll give you a little bit of brief history and background. I just asked her, I said, "You want me to talk about how we met?" It was a meet cute, by the way. I thought she was cuter. She didn't think much of me. But she said, "No, don't talk about that today. I'm going to talk about that later. Not today, but in another one of these she's going to do later when she takes over." So I'm not allowed to tell you any details about that, unfortunately. But I will give you a little bit of history and a little bit of background. We, Janna Marie and I, have written several books together about ASL. I'll show you where they are and what they're doing. We'll start with bolesbooks.com. Okay, it helps if I spelled it right. Okay, let me show you this. So we've written a lot of books together, mainly about ASL, American Sign Language. We've self-published several books. This is one of my favorites. Day 1, Learning American Sign Language in 24 hours. Is it possible? Is it doable? Why, of course. Janna Marie is teaching you. This is Hardcore ASL, and we're going to go there next. But this is our textbook for Hardcore ASL, where you get a bunch of free videos when you buy the book. And we were one of the first, I think the first place to study American Sign Language online back in 1996, if you can believe that. So we started this online learning thing. This is another one of our books for Cengage Thompson. American Sign Language Level 1 with the DVD, when there was such a thing as a DVD. Now I think it's just streaming videos. This is our favorite book, our very first book that we wrote for Barnes & Noble Publishing under the imprint of Metro Books. Hand Jive American Sign Language for real life, unlike fake life. This is the book. Funny, witty banter everywhere. And you can download the whole freaking book in PDF form by clicking on that right there. Let's click on it, see what happens. And the reason we offer this for free is because when the book went out of publication, when they sold all 10,000 copies, Metro Books went out of business, Barnes & Noble changed, they're not printing anything anymore. So the rights to the book reverted back to us. So we could have republished it ourselves for pay. And we didn't. We just put it here online for you, for free. Still one of my favorite books. It's funny, the drawings are, the illustrations, we had a wonderful illustrator who took we took photographs, provided them to the illustrator, who then drew Janna Marie signing. There she is. It looks just like her. Oh, beautiful. It was a wonderful project. So those are some of our sign language books. We have others, I think, somewhere. Sign language sociology. Here we go. More deaf stuff. For Deaf People Only, a book written by Janna Marie. For Deaf People Only. How to Survive in a Hearing World. Very good advice. Here's another one. Return of the Deaf Mute. Insulting phrase, but important. The Lost Legacy of the Greatest American Deaf Generation. That was a fun book to write, actually. Because you think the ADA, the Americans with Disability Act, and the right to have an interpreter, and the right that a deaf person would run a deaf program, you'd think those would be standards, that those would be the default. And they are not anymore. Things are going backward fast. And the basic idea, the people in charge say, what are you going to do about it? So you stand up, you fight, you write books, you talk to people. American Sign Language Level 5. We wrote this ourselves before it was ever an advanced sign language level at a major New York university. A field guide for advanced communication techniques for people with other disabilities. So people with cerebral palsy, people with other communication issues, autism, handled in this book. Let's see, I think that's it. These are some of my other books. Oh, here's a Picture Yourself book. Yeah. The Arts. Anything else here? Mother Narcissus. Oh, those are my books. So now we go to Hardcore ASL. Oh, we had to, well, here's Janna Marie's bio, which is always interesting and always being pressed. Here we go, Janna Marie Sweeney biography. Bolesbooks.com/Sweeney.html. You can read all about her, what she does, who she is. Ah, there's the screaming Janna. That's on my shirt. She screams in public, and she screams online in a stream. Feed her pumpkins and she'll be happy. With all kinds of pictures of beautiful Janna Marie. Oh, there's Janna Marie as Mario, International Sign Language Consultant. Mario studies sign languages from all over the world and presents them in private tutoring that we do on Hardcore ASL. And here's Mario without the hat or the glasses. And we left this up there because she looks exactly like her older brother in this shot. All for fun, all for learning, all for tutoring. And here we are in live stream on bolesbooks.com. And if we stay here too long, it's going to get nasty. And we're going to start hearing feedback and reverberation, just like we did yesterday. It was too much fun for one person, so we're going to leave here. And we're going to go to Hardcore ASL. This is our main home on the web. Together, we've been teaching about 70 years worth of sign language. Janna for 40 years. Me for 30. Only because we've been married for 33 years. Oh, here we are again, and I'm talking to you. Here are the hand jive videos that are free, that go with our book. The videos that go with our other book. Tutoring. Janna Marie does a lot of private tutoring, online or in person. We do workshops. We talk about deaf culture. Many wonderful things. All part of being a part of Janna Marie's life. So if you're interested, I'll show you one more time the Screaming Jannas we have in the merch store at bolesbooks.org/merch. There's the screaming shirt that I'm wearing. And if you missed it earlier, because my microphone was off, you can actually feed Janna Marie things, and she will eat them. See? She eats pumpkins. Oh. Gone. Swallowed. Sometimes when she's late at night, in bed, sleeping, a spider crawl into her mouth. Whoop. She eats it. And of course, the lovely Valentine Stone that she will also eat and disappear. And again, that is the Janna Marie version of the Scream. Edvard Munch. We discussed it earlier. We're just discussing it now to say hello. Here's the Edvard Munch website. So you have Janna Marie also on our merch store on a towel. It's a blanket, actually. And she can also scream to you from a mug, a tumbler. And when you see her show up, she's not going to be wearing her own Screaming Janna shirt. She's going to be wearing this shirt, which is the DB shirt. It's very thin, very luxurious, with the DB, David Boles logo. Quite lovely. All right, enough selling. I don't know if it's upselling or just begging. And we'll go find Janna Marie again, and we'll set her up. So this is what's going to happen. In a minute or two, we're going to take one more little break. She's going to show up, sitting here, talking to you. No music, because this is totally immersive. Going to move the microphone, turn down the headphones, turn off and turn down the microphone. And she's going to share with you the realities of her life. And you can ask her questions. You can chat with her if you want to. If she's talking too fast, tell her to slow down if you don't understand something. Type something in chat. Make sure you're registered with your email address and phone number so she can chat with you. You have a couple of minutes to do it. And just for fun, this is my biography, bolesbooks.com/boles.html. Who is this man? Why is he in our live stream? Oh, there I am again. Don't look. We'll go get into mirrors. Oh, we talked about my leopard face mask earlier. Here's some lovely artwork from our good friend Dora, who was in live chat with us a little earlier today. We hope she's still here. Hello, Dora. This is her early work. This is David with 7 noses, which I really love. It's my favorite one of all. Only because it matches my ridiculousness. Another photograph from the younger me. See all that? All the cowlick in the hair. Hair every which way. It's untamable. Just like the person. Another picture of me typing. Writing. Another. And there I am with my mask and my hat. No coronavirus on me. There's the old standard picture, the older standard picture, and the Human Meme podcast. But enough about me. We go back to the lovely and talented Janna Marie. Setting her up. But not to tear her down. We'll go with this one. There's the smile. All right. So it's time. Oh, she's right there. She's ready to go. She's wearing a beautiful DB shirt. So we're just going to go into the Janna Marie transition. And then she's going to take over for a little while. And then when she's done, we're not done. We're going to go back, take a little intermission when she's done. Then I'm going to come back here, talk to you about a couple of other things. And then we'll say goodbye and hello. So let me find her opening scene. And the next thing you'll see is the most beautiful person in the world. Janna Marie, baby kitty. Back in a moment. And we're back. Well, that was a very interesting experiment that I thought went very well. Having Janna Marie join us. I guess she made a quick escape while I was in the restroom. She left behind her notes. She made that quick of an escape. She could not wait to find me. But now we're back. And we're together again. Now, there are a couple of things I just want to mention on my own that she brought up about how we met, how things are happening, if there are things that you'd like to see in the future from her, if she takes over our live stream again on Friday, let me know. Find me on Twitter at David Boles. Find me on Facebook, facebook.com/BOLES. Or you can ask me here in chat about the sign name. Now, sign names are very important in sign language. And thank you so much, Ellie, for joining us. Janna speaks a lot about you and how wonderful you are and how dedicated you are and how hardcore pressing you are to stand up for yourself and to get the answers you need. It's very admirable. Thank you so much for joining us today. It meant a lot to Janna, and it means a lot to me. And she'll see you later when she teaches today on a Friday. So a sign name in the deaf community is part of your identity. And when I first met Janna, and I'm not allowed to really tell this story, but I'll tell you a little bit of it because I have to set this up. She was starring as Sarah in Children of a Lesser God. Oh, there's Ellie again. Oh, that's wonderful. That means a lot to her. She's in the other room watching on the big TV, watching our stream on Apple TV. She'll be very excited to see you later, Ellie. Thank you so much. We need more people like you who are dedicated and fighting for the cause. For the disabled, for the abled, for a greater understanding. Your dedication is very admirable. Thank you so much. So a sign name is something that's very valuable, and she was starring as Sarah in Children of a Lesser God at the Omaha Community Playhouse. And I had my own play that I had written and directed and produced called The Weeping Water Cafe that's actually on video. And I might show you one of those shows, live show, or the staged version we did for television. Wonderful actors, Devin Schumacher and Jim Hanna. Gregory Allen Kubitschek was the cinematographer. And the specifics of how we came to meet under that circumstance. But one of the actors, a hearing actor in her show, knew that I kind of liked her, Janna Marie. And so I was trying to learn sign language from him, and he had just kind of learned his sign language. And he gave me a sign name as a hearing person, which is the first, you don't do that. If you're in the deaf community, if you're from a deaf family, if you have deaf friends, you can invent your own name sign. But usually it's given to you by the deaf community. And like your street name, you can't pick your own sign name. So he gave me the sign name, and he did like this. Your hand, which is a piece of paper, and a D, hand-shaped D, like this, writing on your hand. That was my sign name given to me by a hearing actor in the show who knew sign language, some sign language. And so I was very happy to show Janna my new sign name. And she looked at me, and she said, "Where did you get that?" And I said, "Jay gave it to me. The piece of paper, and this is a pen, and it's a D, which is my name, and a D is just writing on a piece of paper because I write plays. I'm a writer." And she very patiently explained to me, "No, first of all, Jay can't give you a sign name. I could give you a sign name if I liked you better." But the D on the hand with the writing, that's very English. It's not really ASL, it's not deaf way. So I said, "So what do I do? I don't want to have to spell my name, have people spell my name every time, even though it's D-A-V-E, which is short enough, which I guess people could just sign it that way. And so after a while of dating and getting to know each other, she said your sign name should be what she showed. This. Which to me translates to sparkle eyes. Not a D. That's probably what Jay would have done. The D, sparkling, D for David, sparkling. ASL, hand-shaped classifier, 25. That's what I call it. Dave. Okay. So she introduced me to her friends. They were like, "Oh," her deaf friends. "Oh, what's that? Oh, this." Oh. And then they would look at me in my eyes. "Oh, look. Oh, his eyes do sparkle. Well, that's a proper sign name." So that's my sign name. That's how I got to it. Now, I want to show you something else, but I don't want to search for it live with you in case things pop up that shouldn't pop up. So while I'm speaking to you, I'm also looking at my browser so I can go to Twitter and see if I can find something that's a good way to close this conversation with you today. Let me see if I can find what I'm looking for. If I can't, then no harm is done because you don't really know what I'm doing. I might be able to find it. Let me see. Let me see. Twitter's changed things. You know, I used to be able to find things so much easier. Now you just can't find anything. I found it. I'll show it to you right now. Took me a while. I should have done the search with you. I was looking for, which screen is this? This is where I need my reading glasses. I'll have to go down further. Okay. This one. So this is our beloved Janna Marie. When she was at ISD, Iowa School for the Deaf. This was way back when. And that's Janna, and that is her friend Rod. And they were homecoming king and queen. And every time Janna would go home to visit Iowa, visit her mother, her sister, her brother, Rod would always know she was in town and would come and say hello and visit with her. It was a lovely long-distance friendship that, you know, once you're friends with somebody and you get together with them once a year, it's like you never left. And this is an interesting story that was printed in the newspaper. Janna was not interviewed for this, but she is identified as an expert lip reader, which is something sort of hard to live down in the deaf community because that's not really something you necessarily want to be known for because it's not really seen as a talent in that community. But in the hearing community, it's very valued. Oh, we don't have to use sign language with her. She'll just read our lips. We'll put all the communication barrier on her. And the reason I'm showing this to you now is that Rod died this year of COVID-19. And even in his death, there are still people in the community of Council Bluffs, Iowa, who are deaf and who know Rod and who are hearing and who know and love Rod and who were saddened by his death from COVID-19. And they still won't get vaccinated. Some just stay home and hide, thinking this is just a temporary thing that we'll get over one day. It'll go away and we'll be fine. So earlier at the start of this podcast, we talked about dreams that turn black and blue. And Rod had a family, had a child, and Rod's dreams are no more. Perhaps they were folded in to his family. But Rod was a fun guy, and this was not the end he wanted or deserved, but it was the end that found him. By choice or not, how do we know? All we know is what happened. So talking about sign names, just to kind of wrap up that idea for a moment, sign names are an interesting, difficult thing to try to discuss. Because a lot of our ASL students, Janna's ASL students, my students by default in many ways, want a sign name because it identifies them to the community. And when we first began our teaching careers 30 years ago, we would often give out sign names, like at the end of a long series of courses. For students who wanted them, we would give them a sign name. And then we slowly came to realize that when they were done with us, they were not part of the deaf community. They were not involved in advocacy for the deaf or the disabled. And so the sign name that we gave them didn't really have any meaning anymore because it wasn't being used. So we don't do that anymore. Some students ask. Every once in a while, if they're an excellent student and dedicated, give them a sign name. Most sign names are on the face, below the face or on the face. That's why the D with the signing signature never was an appropriate sort of sign, name sign. But this is. Either side doesn't matter. Dave, Sparkle. So be careful, don't ever ask for a sign name, because that's what should not happen. You'll be given a sign name if, the community believes that you're dedicated and you deserve one. So if you want a sign name, all you have to do is be a part of the community and one will find you. And finally, this is probably part of the conversation that I'm not allowed to share about Janna and how we came to New York, but I will tell you this, and we've discussed this before. You don't have to be where you're from. Many times, Janna and I feel as if we escaped the Midwest. And we came to New York, we found a new life, an education. I got my MFA at Columbia. She got her advanced degree, MA, Deafness Rehabilitation at NYU. And we do feel like we escaped the Midwest expectation. Me from Nebraska, her from Iowa. And other friends of ours who escaped, they went the other way. They went west for the sunshine and the warm weather and the glittering sunsets. They went new. They went into the promise of the horizon. We went the other way. We went back in time. We went ancient. We went back to the originating coast, the East Coast. And we found each other, and we found what we were looking for. And it was a very wonderful and exhilarating experience that stays with us today. So do what you need to do. Get out if you got to get out. You don't have to stay where you were born. You can move out, move up. You can always try to go back, successful or in failure, but at least you made the attempt to try to get out and go somewhere else and do something that's maybe just a little bit different. I thank you so much for joining us today. It was a wonderful, interesting, unique experience that we hope to present to you live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern to 11 a.m. Eastern. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. This is week 2 of our live streaming. And every day we feel we get a little bit better and we stretch a little bit farther. And maybe on Monday we'll do it again even better. But for now, thank you so much for being with us. Have a wonderful day and an even greater weekend. Take care and be well, my friend.